Ladies, let's talk about what truly captures a man's heart. Not just his attention, but his genuine affection. It's not about how you look, how expensive your perfume is, or how perfect your eyeliner wings are. It's those small, authentic, and often unintentional things you do that make him melt. Let's break down the 10 key insights behind these irresistible traits and how they go deeper than just being cute. Men are often drawn to the kind of woman who radiates authenticity through the simplest actions. One of the most irresistible things is when a woman laughs freely and without restraint. It's not the rehearsed or polite kind of laugh, but the kind that escapes in a moment of genuine joy. That sound, filled with warmth and life, becomes something unforgettable. It shows that she's comfortable in her skin, not overly concerned about appearances, and living in the moment. That kind of presence is magnetic because it makes everything feel more real and emotionally safe. Another thing men find hard to resist is when a woman gets excited over little things. It might be a small gift, a surprise plan, or a cute animal on the street. Her excitement feels pure and unfiltered, like she's in touch with something magical about life that others forget. It brings lightness to interactions and reminds him of joy in the simplest forms. That same charm appears when she fixes her hair mid-conversation or laughs at her own clumsiness. These unconscious movements or reactions aren't designed to impress, yet they linger in his memory because they're naturally captivating. Men also fall hard when a woman can challenge them playfully. A little teasing, a clever comeback, or even a raised eyebrow can create an energy that is fun and flirtatious without being confrontational. It keeps things dynamic and shows that she's not afraid to hold her ground. Alongside this playful strength, her ability to show genuine curiosity about his life adds emotional depth. When she listens and asks meaningful questions, he feels seen beyond the surface. This connection grows stronger when she celebrates her own wins with pride, because a woman who appreciates herself shows she values her own life and invites others to value it too. What really ties it all together is her ability to care in subtle, thoughtful ways. Whether it's a kind word before an important event or a small gesture of support, it tells him she's emotionally intelligent without being overwhelming. When she talks passionately about what she loves, her whole energy shifts in a way that pulls people closer. And when she confidently enjoys her independence, making plans or taking time for herself, it tells him she's not with him out of need, but choice. That balance of affection, confidence, and joy is what truly makes her unforgettable. When a woman gets excited about the little things, it has a way of lighting up the entire moment. Whether it's the thrill of discovering her favorite snack at the store, a sudden plan that makes her eyes sparkle, or the joy she expresses when spotting an adorable dog on the street. Her reactions feel pure and unfiltered, and she feels pure and powerful. And that's why I beg you to attend adult dances. It's not about being over the top. It's about being fully present and finding delight in everyday moments. That kind of genuine enthusiasm is rare, and it draws people in without effort. This type of excitement is contagious. When a man sees a woman getting genuinely thrilled over something small, it pulls him into the experience and reminds him to slow down. Life is often filled with pressure and seriousness, and her ability to find joy in the simple things is a welcome break from all that. It gives him permission to let his guard down, to laugh without reason, and to remember that happiness doesn't always come from big achievements or expensive gestures. Sometimes it's just about noticing the beauty in what's already around us. There's also something deeply attractive about someone who doesn't hold back their happiness. It reflects emotional openness and confidence. She's not trying to appear cool or indifferent. She's just being herself. That lack of pretense is powerful. It shows that she's not afraid to feel things deeply or express them freely. It's the kind of energy that draws people closer because it feels real, warm, and alive. There's a sense that with her, even the most ordinary moment could turn into something memorable. When a woman lives with this kind of joyful spontaneity, it adds color and life to her relationships. It's not about performing or being overly cheerful all the time, but about appreciating life with sincerity. That quality makes her not just attractive, but unforgettable. Her happiness becomes a shared experience. And in those small moments of excitement, a man often realizes he's not just watching her light up, he's being lit up right alongside her. There's something quietly captivating about the way a woman unconsciously fixes her hair while she's talking. It's not planned or posed, but a natural gesture that happens when she's engaged in the moment. Maybe she tucks a strand behind her ear while making a point, or brushes her hair from her face as she listens closely. These small movements may seem insignificant, but they often leave a lasting impression. They carry a kind of softness and presence that pulls the other person in without needing to say a word. What makes this so appealing is that it's completely unforced. It's not about trying to look perfect or polished, but about being caught up in real conversation, real emotion, and real connection. In a world full of filters, poses, and rehearsed expressions, this kind of unconscious authenticity stands out. It shows that she's not performing for anyone, not calculating every move. She's just being herself in the moment. And that level of comfort and openness is incredibly attractive. These gestures also carry a certain intimacy. They suggest vulnerability, but not weakness, more like a quiet confidence. She doesn't need to impress with grand statements or loud actions. Her body language speaks for her. It tells the person in front of her that she's engaged, alive, and unguarded. That kind of genuine presence is rare, and it's often what makes a man stop and truly notice her beyond just the surface. What's most irresistible is how these moments reflect who she is, without her even trying. There's no script, no effort to look a certain way. It's just real life happening in front of him. And that's what makes her feel so human and so approachable. In those subtle, in-between moments, she becomes more than just beautiful. She becomes memorable. Those are the little things that stay with him long after the conversation ends. One of the most attractive things a woman can do is playfully challenge a man. It's not about creating conflict or being argumentative. It's about adding a spark to the conversation. A teasing comment, a quick-witted response, or a light-hearted eye roll can turn an ordinary moment into something charged with playful energy. It breaks the monotony and shows that she's fully present and engaged. This kind of dynamic keeps things interesting and makes him want to keep the interaction going. When a woman confidently expresses her thoughts, especially in a fun and teasing way, it signals strength. She's not trying to blend in or simply agree with everything he says. Instead, she's showing that she has her own opinions and isn't afraid to voice them. That kind of self-assurance is incredibly appealing. It tells him that she's not looking for someone to follow, but someone to meet her at her level. It shifts the dynamic from passive agreement to a lively, equal exchange. Playful challenges also create a sense of tension that feels exciting rather than threatening. There's a rhythm to the back and forth, like a game that both people enjoy playing. It builds anticipation, curiosity, and even a bit of mystery. He never quite knows what clever response she'll come up with next, and that keeps him on his toes in the best way. This interaction becomes something memorable, not just because of what was said, but because of how it felt. More than anything, it reveals that she's not afraid to be herself. She's not trying to be liked through compliance, but through authenticity. She wants to be respected, not just admired. That confidence is powerful because it invites him to rise to the occasion and meet her with the same level of depth and energy. In the end, it's not just the playful words that draw him in, but the message behind them. This is someone who knows her worth and isn't afraid to show it. Genuine curiosity is one of the most underrated yet powerful qualities in building emotional connection. When a woman asks thoughtful questions, not out of politeness, but because she truly wants to understand, something shifts. It could be asking about his favorite childhood memory, what inspires him, or what his biggest dream looks like. These questions go beyond small talk and open a space where he feels safe enough to be real. In a world where surface-level conversations are the norm, this kind of depth stands out instantly. What makes it so irresistible is how it makes him feel seen in a way that has nothing to do with his achievements or looks. When someone shows interest in who he is beneath the surface, it creates a rare sense of value. Most people listen to respond, but she listens to understand. That quiet attentiveness, that emotional attentiveness, tells him she's not just looking for someone to impress her. She's genuinely interested in knowing who he is when no one's watching. This kind of curiosity builds a unique bond. It's no longer just about attraction, it becomes a connection. He finds himself opening up more, sharing pieces of his life he usually keeps guarded. And as he does, he starts to associate that feeling of comfort and trust with her presence. That's how emotional intimacy begins. Not with big moments, but with small questions that come from a place of sincerity. Suddenly, she becomes someone he doesn't just enjoy spending time with, but someone he genuinely trusts. Over time, that trust deepens. The more he feels understood, the more he wants to invest emotionally. It's not because she tried to be perfect or said all the right things, but because she made him feel like who he is matters. And when a man feels that kind of acceptance, he doesn't just enjoy the connection, he treasures it. In that safe emotional space she creates, he doesn't feel the need to impress, he just wants to stay. When a woman celebrates her own wins, no matter how big or small, it shows a deep sense of self-respect and confidence. It might be landing a new job, finishing a tough workout, or simply trying a new recipe and nailing it. Instead of downplaying these accomplishments, she lights up and shares them with pride. That kind of energy is magnetic. It's not about seeking approval or validation from others. It's about honoring her own growth and progress in a way that's genuine and uplifting. There's something truly attractive about someone who isn't afraid to take up space with their happiness. When she shares her achievements with joy, it creates a sense of celebration not just for herself, but for those around her too. A man witnessing this feels invited into a space of positivity and self-worth. It makes him admire not only what she's achieved, but the way she carries herself through it. She becomes someone who brings light into the room, someone who's living fully rather than waiting for permission to feel proud. This habit of celebrating personal wins also reflects emotional maturity. It means she doesn't rely solely on external praise to feel good about herself. She knows how to acknowledge her own efforts and appreciate how far she's come. That kind of inner strength is both rare and inspiring. A man watching this doesn't just feel drawn to her. He starts to see her as someone he wants to cheer for, someone whose victories he wants to witness and share in. Over time, this energy creates a powerful dynamic. Her joy becomes contagious, and it makes him want to elevate his own life to match hers. It's not about competition, but about mutual inspiration. He doesn't just see her as confident, he sees her as a partner who knows how to thrive. And being with someone who celebrates life this way makes every moment feel a little more meaningful. It's not the size of her success that matters. It's the way she honors it that makes her unforgettable. Look, if she's delivered her message, if she's delivered her meaningful, it's not the size of her success that matters. It's the way she honors it that makes her unforgettable. Look, if she's delivered her meaningful, it's not the size of her success that matters. It's the way she honors it that makes her unforgettable. There's something deeply touching about the quiet ways a woman shows she cares. It's not always in grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Sometimes it's as simple as bringing him coffee just the way he likes it, or sending a thoughtful message before his big meeting. These small, intentional acts are often more powerful than anything loud or flashy. They reveal an emotional awareness that feels safe, grounding, and incredibly comforting. What makes these gestures so attractive is their subtlety. They're not done to get attention or approval. They're done because she's genuinely tuned in to what he needs, even when he hasn't asked. That kind of intuitive care makes a man feel seen and supported without being overwhelmed. It creates a quiet intimacy, a feeling that someone is in his corner, not because she's trying to prove her love, but because it's simply who she is. These thoughtful moments show emotional intelligence in action. She understands that real connection isn't built on constant reassurance or overgiving, but on being present in the right ways at the right times. It's the balance that makes her stand out. She gives enough to show that she cares, but not so much that it feels heavy or demanding. This allows the relationship to grow naturally with mutual appreciation and space to breathe. This is why this demand is over time. These small acts leave a lasting impact. He begins to associate her with comfort, calm, and quiet strength. She becomes the person who brings peace into his chaotic world without asking for anything in return. And in a world that often mistakes noise for love, her gentle way of caring becomes something rare and unforgettable. It's not how much she does, it's how thoughtfully she does it that makes all the difference. Sam, and I see that you become all the more reordered. There's something undeniably charming about a woman who can laugh at her own clumsiness. Maybe she trips over her own feet, spills her drink, or fumbles with her words, but instead of shrinking with embarrassment, she lets out a genuine laugh. In that moment, she shows a kind of confidence that isn't about perfection, but about acceptance. It's a reminder that being human is messy, and that's okay. This ability to embrace the awkwardness with grace makes her presence light and refreshing. When someone can own their imperfections without apology, it sends a powerful message. It says, I know I'm not flawless, and I'm completely fine with that. That kind of attitude is contagious. It puts others at ease and makes them feel more comfortable in their own skin. For a man watching this unfold, it's a deeply attractive quality. It shows that she's not walking through life guarded or trying too hard to appear perfect. She's living freely, and that kind of freedom is magnetic. This type of self-assurance doesn't come from trying to impress others. It comes from within, from a quiet understanding that mistakes and missteps don't define a person. When she laughs at herself, she diffuses any potential awkwardness and creates a space where both people can be more real. The interaction becomes less about judgment and more about connection. It shows that she's not afraid to be vulnerable, and vulnerability, when met with humor, becomes strength. Over time, these moments become memorable, not because of the clumsiness itself, but because of how she handled it. That laugh, that playful shrug, that sparkle in her eye. It all adds up to someone who's not just beautiful, but deeply grounded. It's a reminder that charm isn't found in perfect lines or flawless moves, but in the unpolished, unscripted moments of real life. And a woman who can enjoy those moments without shame becomes someone he's drawn to again and again. There is something incredibly captivating about a woman who lights up when she talks about what she loves, whether it's a passion for art, music, books, animals, or travel. The moment she begins to speak about it, something in her energy shifts. Her eyes become brighter, her words flow with ease, and her entire presence feels more alive. It's not rehearsed or exaggerated. It's the kind of excitement that comes from a place of deep connection. Watching someone become fully immersed in something they care about is a beautiful experience because it reveals a part of them that's raw and real. This passion is attractive not because of the specific topic, but because of the emotion behind it. A man who witnesses this can feel the difference between surface-level interests and something that truly fuels her. It gives him a glimpse into her inner world, one that she has built with curiosity, creativity, and dedication. Her enthusiasm becomes contagious. And even if he doesn't share the same interest, he becomes intrigued by the way it makes her come alive. That spark is what leaves a lasting impression. It's a window into her soul. When a woman shares what she loves without holding back, it shows confidence. She's not afraid to be enthusiastic, even if it means being a little nerdy or overly excited. That willingness to be vulnerable in her joy shows emotional strength. She doesn't need to tone herself down to be accepted. In fact, her unfiltered excitement invites the other person to open up about what moves them too. It creates a space where connection is built, not on appearances or charm, but on passion and authenticity. Over time, this kind of passion becomes something he looks forward to. He wants to hear her talk about her next idea, her new project, or the thing that made her smile today. It's not just about attraction anymore, it's about admiration. A woman who speaks passionately about her interests isn't just interesting, she becomes someone who inspires. Her love for what she does adds dimension to who she is, and that depth is what truly makes her unforgettable. There is something incredibly attractive about a woman who is playfully independent. She doesn't feel the need to check in constantly, explain every move, or ask for permission before doing what makes her happy. Whether it's taking herself out for coffee, planning a weekend getaway with friends, or diving into a personal goal. She moves through life with a sense of freedom. This kind of independence doesn't create distance, it creates admiration. It shows that her life is already full, and anyone who becomes part of it is there by invitation, not out of necessity. This playful independence carries a lightness that's often misunderstood. It's not about being distant or cold. It's about showing that her happiness isn't dependent on someone else's presence or approval. She doesn't rely on a relationship to feel complete. And that self-assuredness is magnetic. It creates space in the relationship that actually draws a man in more deeply. He knows she's with him because she wants to be, not because she needs someone to fill a void. That choice, made freely, makes him feel chosen in the most meaningful way. Men are naturally drawn to the energy of a woman who enjoys her own company and doesn't shy away from being alone. It signals emotional maturity and security. She's not afraid of silence, nor does she fear that independence means losing love. In fact, her ability to maintain her individuality while in a relationship allows the connection to grow stronger. It removes pressure and brings back the excitement of truly getting to know someone who remains true to herself, no matter who she's with. Over time, this kind of independence becomes something deeply respected and valued. It creates a relationship dynamic based on mutual admiration rather than dependency. A man finds himself stepping up, not because he's asked to, but because he wants to meet her at that level of strength and balance. In the end, her independence doesn't push him away, it pulls him closer. Because being with someone who doesn't need you but still chooses you is one of the most irresistible feelings of all.